It's rare when things in life work out exactly according to plan. That's also the case in reserve funding. Let's look at an association we'll call the Surprise Condo Association. At a time when their reserves were stable and their major projects were getting done on time, they got hit with two big unwanted surprises. Their smooth situation was turned into a dreaded special assessment situation. But it actually wasn't as bad as it could have been. Follow along and see how this board reacted to their bad news and how their strong reserve starting point helped them get through their roughest year. Okay, let's turn the page and start talking about a case study that has to do with surprises at an association.
All right, yeah, this is an interesting one. So let's take a look. Here we have an 84-unit, 5-story building with 4 elevators, pool, and a spa. It's built in 1975, so it's 49 years old, so older building. And although older, it's a nice building in a major metropolitan area. So we conducted a with-site visit update for the 2023 fiscal year, and the association started experiencing some surprises in 2024. Now let's take a look at the results again. The starting balance for the association was projected at $823,000. They were 56.3% funded. We recommended reserve funding of $19,900 per month. And keynote here, they were on schedule for a custom carpet installation.
Okay.
So,
and then the surprises started.
Yeah, let's take a look at these a little bit deeper. So surprise number 1, the treasurer, who was actually unfortunately suffering from cataracts, he accepted the delivery of custom carpet, and the installer started cutting the material and installing it. And some board members were on vacation, and upon their return, they noticed that it was actually the wrong color, and it was plainly just the wrong material. So in this case, since the delivery and installation was already authorized, the association had to reorder the carpet because the mill simply made it wrong. And so, yeah, there went $140,000. It's a huge surprise. Let's take a look at surprise number 2. Also pretty interesting because I've never really seen this before. So the elevators at this association began failing regularly, and an investigation, evaluation of results found that the motors were designed for conveyor belts, one-way motion, and not back and forth elevator service. So the board realized they really needed to start this elevator modernization 12 years earlier than anticipated.
Ouch.
That's very significant because we all know that elevators are very costly. So they were not prepared to handle something like that. So let's take a look at UPlanet and see what the association did to overcome these challenges. And Robert, before we dive into those 2 surprises, let's take a look at a scenario where the association gets a nice payback.
There we go. I am glad we're going to take this little detour. Okay, so I've got UPlanet up here for Surprise Condo Association, and I think I know where you're going to go.
Yeah, so our initial recommendation was $19,900 per month in reserve funding. But what we want to do is take a look at our control panel and the interest. So you can see that the interest there, we had 4%. Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. I just deleted it. It was
4%. And so, but before we changed it to 4%, we had assumptions that the association was getting 1% interest earning on their money. But we really had a detailed discussion with the board and talked them into doing better because of current rates. So they were actually able to obtain rates at 4%. And so what we're going to do here is take a look at what would the reserve funding have been if they kept that 1% rate, and compare that to the reserve funding at 4%. So we're going to run, go ahead.
Okay.
Run this full solver. Mm-hmm.
So it shows that at 1%, they needed $22,820 per month, and they were at $19,900. Have you done the math on that?
Yeah, $19,900. Yes. So the difference there is $2,920 per month, or $35,040 per year.
Or a few hours of effort to get 4% on their money instead of 1%.
Correct. So it's a super important reason why any board member here today should have that discussion with the rest of the board, talk to bankers, and potentially put their money in some account that has higher interest earning.
Fantastic. I like that. Okay, let me get this back to the way we left them at 4%.
All right.
And
So
make sure
let's
that,
take a look.
wait. I get this stabilized.
That's why you plan it so great. We have these buttons, that you reset this data pretty quickly. And again, it's such a great tool that our clients get to use.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. There we go. I must have changed something else. Okay, well, let's go to what was happening at the association.
All right, so let's take a look at the first surprise. So we're going to navigate to carpet, which in our component list is number 601. So we have the remaining useful life set at 0. Project cost is $140,000 because this project was planned. So what we need to do here is deduct another $140,000 from their projected starting reserve balance because they have to spend an additional $140,000 on the new material. So if we do that math, Robert, that's going to be $683,000. Okay.
Got it.
And let's go ahead and go to the elevator surprise.
Okay. Scrolling down. Got it.
So if we look here, the component set up with a 25-year useful life, 12-year remaining, because that's how much time the we thought was left based on the the elevator at the time. It's a surprise we didn't know about, but now that we know the elevator needs to be modernized, we're going to drop that down to 0, and that is a $540,000 project.
Ouch.
Yeah, so we'll do that.
Okay. So the elevator is 0 remaining life at $540,000. Carpet is still this year at $140,000, but we spent that money on the wrong color carpet. And now let's go over and see what kind of a problem we have on our hands.
Okay, so first thing that I wanted to point out is percent funded. So before I'd mentioned that percent funded was 56%. Now it's 40%. So, a pretty substantial drop in percent funded. And let's go ahead and hit the full solver button to see what we get there.
Okay. Special assessment and increase in funding.
Yeah, so we went from funding-wise $19,900 to $21,690, and that's on a monthly basis. Then $85,680 special assessment. But what we're going to do here is
clean that up.
Let's reduce to $84,000, so it's an even $1,000 per unit, and that's the scenario the board had put together. So, and that's not really a bad place to be considering. This large increase in funding needs is essentially because the association was 56% funded. I think that's a reason why it turned out a lot better than it could have been. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even the loss of $140,000, that dropped it. And $140,000 divided by 84 units is, I don't know, $1,500, $1,600. And they were able to only have $1,000 per unit special assessment while we could probably see it here. Yeah, that big elevator project in the first year.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of value in having a strong reserve fund that can insulate you from special assessments and surprises.
Yeah. And in this case, who knows, if they were around 100% funded, fully funded, they may have not even needed a special assessment and could have, incurred those costs without really, a big hiccup at all.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be my guess too. All right, back to the program?
Yes, let's go ahead.
Okay. So association was financially unprepared. They had 2 significant blows. So what did they do? And Elon?
Yeah, so let's sum it all up here. The association dropped from 56% funded to 40% funded. Increased reserve funding from $19,900 per month to $21,690 per month, and they passed a special assessment of $1,000 per unit. So that's not too bad, again, considering the challenges and the costs they had to face.
Excellent. At Association Reserves, we make the present less stressful and the future more secure. If you want to join us in this mission, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below on what you'd like to see us address in a future video. Let's plan for your best future.